Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Rossi on the line, and she's the owner over at Meeting Achievements. Polly, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, Polly, so I'm excited about this topic. When I saw it on the show list today, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. So virtual platforms and what small business owners need to know. So, I mean, virtual platforms is a big deal. Lots of people that want to do more business online, want to do more meetings online, don't know exactly how to do it. We're gonna solve some of those problems for people today. But before we do that, let's go a little bit further into Meeting Achievements. Tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Sure. Love to. Meeting Achievements is a full-service event planning service. We specialize in virtual platforms, and we also help you from start to finish with any of your events, whether they be live or virtual.
That's awesome. And I think that is a great transition, and that's why we wanted you on the show for this topic. So virtual platforms, I talk to people about this all the time, and, you know, we're incorporating them more and more in our lives, right, as time goes on. And in my opinion, people talk about it being the future. I'm like, it's the past, future, and present. So where do you want to start with this topic? Because I think virtual platforms are super interesting.
Well, I do too, and I think that, you know, it extends your reach without borders, let's say. You can do that through virtual conferences. You can specialize. You can make it available to people around the world. I think the big thing is, you know, the whole planning process is scary to some because virtual, like you said, is unknown to a few. And I think that, you know, the more dynamic you can make it, the better off you are for your end user, the attendee of your conference or platform.
What do you think, and I know this is going to change, right, from person to person, from business to business, but what do you think kind of holds people back many times from making that leap to virtual? Because I feel like I hear a lot of people talk about it, but sometimes they're still holding back, and I'm like, just do it. It's okay. Sign up for one and do it.
Yeah, I think the big thing is they feel they're missing the face-to-face and the interaction, so they'd rather hold off and, you know, wait until everybody can be together in the same room. But let's be realistic that, you know, sometimes trying to get a group of individuals, whether it be 20 for a key opinion leader or board directors meeting to, you know, 1,000 for a conference, sometimes it just doesn't permit that. And I think you're missing out on people whose travel schedule doesn't apply in their opinions and strategies and their mind thought. So I think it opens up the door. And I think, you know, we should just make sure that we are able to welcome everybody we can to any process we do. So,
Polly, what do you, and I know this is going to change from company to company, of course, but I know you've been in the space and you've seen, and obviously being in the meeting business in general, whether it's live or virtual, you have a lot of experience doing this. What do you think some of the best people do? Like, what are some of those best practices or those kind of things that you notice that the people that pull this off well just kind of execute on time and time again?
Yeah, I mean, I think that key leaders in the industry, no matter whether it be live or virtual, are the ones who think about the end product. I mean, we all do SWOT analysis, right? And we take our key stakeholders into it. But I think we need to make sure that we're covering for the attendees. And we need to make sure that if we're using a virtual platform, that it's simple, easy for them to follow, I think all the bells and whistles can be out there, but I think the more simple you have it, because everybody's time is so busy, that you don't necessarily need a lot of flash to make the product be displayed. Because again, let's be realistic. I'm a meeting planner, and sometimes the best meeting is via an email or a phone call, right? You don't actually have to have a face-to-face. And I think if you put your end thought is to the attendee and work backwards, kind of reverse engineering.
So I want to talk to that novice right now, because some people listening and they get it, and I think for some of them they can, you can go on YouTube, you can Google, you can get as advanced as you want in some of these things and work with a professional in a company like yours if you want to get even more technical and advanced. But what do you for that novice out there that still kind of wants to do it, hasn't done it, and is thinking about making the leap? I mean, what would be your kind of low hanging fruit, if you will, or your tip, or something that they can just kind of start thinking about like today?
Well, really, I think it's, the collaboration tools that you want. Think about how you're going to generate revenue, and then community building, right? Because community building is like your net promoter scores. It's the easiest way to spread the word is those who love you will continue to share your information from product to product. And I think that, again, if you take it into the end and you're providing a service that people need, and what you're talking about in your virtual platform, that's why we created ours, which was called Redefine, because we wanted to redefine how virtual meetings were done, and we wanted to basically help change, the instructional design of meetings. We want to go away from death by didactic and make it more interactive and engaging. So I think, again, if they can just really take apart what their end goal is without starting to do one, I think they truly need to have that end goal in mind.
No, I love it, and it makes so much sense, and I love the end product thought process, because I think one mistake that I've noticed from some is that they feel that, because it's virtual, because it's online, they don't always take the same approach that they would for an in-person meeting in terms of the amount of preparation. That's the one, that one thing that I'm like, no, you have to be, if you were practicing X amount for your speech that was going to be in person as your keynote or anything else like that. Whatever you were going to do, you have to have that same amount of energy. You have to have all those things you would have normally done, those same nuances. It's the same thing. It's just and by the way, easier said than done. So I'm not picking anybody out there. I struggle with this too. That being said, it's still game on. It's still your performance, and it's still what's going to what the audience is going to remember. So it's not just I have to do this virtual thing real quick. No, it's the same. The stakes are exactly the same in my opinion.
And they are. And I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think everybody can get up in front of an audience and generate energy live, right? Because they draw from the audience. But doing it virtually, you have to create your own level of energy. So our team, actually takes the time to do training and help people understand that. And then we also talk about that, the average human, 11 to 14 minutes of attention span, but every 5 to 7 minutes virtually, they need to be engaged. So how do you do that? Is it a question? Is it a poll answer? Is it, you go into a breakout, talks are shorter, whatever you need to do. But again, we're just trying to help recreate, not taking anything away, like you said, from the experts and the keynote presenters out there who can do a talk for an hour and create that. It's different live than it is virtual, and explaining that difference and making sure that it comes across to the end user, I think, is the key.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Polly, I could talk to you about this all day long, but we're about out of time for today's episode. If somebody's listening to this, two-part question, final question. Number one, what are the right types of businesses and or individuals that are typically a great fit to work with meeting achievements? Question number one. Question number two, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with you?
Right. So part number one, our best clients are anybody who wants to go virtual. I mean, we have clients all the way from, we specialize in continuing medical education for physicians, but we also have done CLE for lawyers. We've done real estate virtual conferences. We're doing anything that anybody who wants to go virtual, we can help them with that. Second, the best way to reach us is through our website, which is meetingachievements.com, or they can find us on Twitter at Meeting Achiever or Facebook at Meeting Achievements. So we look forward to talking to you guys.
That's awesome. Well, Polly, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing to help our business owners go online and that really, to shine online was more important and over at Meeting Achievements. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Polly, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Adam.